This worldwide pandemic has had quite an impact on me, so much so that I am now a turn and burn family portrait photographer. It's true. So I've been under quarantine for over 30 days now, and I'm watching my bank account start to get really low, and not having any jobs on the books, I have to figure something out. Now, I know a popular thing right now are porch portraits. So a photographer rolls up to someone's house, throws their 200 millimeter lens out the window or stands at the curb or whatever, does some portraits of families and people on their front porch. It's a pretty cool kind of thing to document during this time. I kind of dig that. But honestly, I'm a control freak and I need to know like what the light is like on your front porch. So what time of day would I have to be coming by? Like I could cover half of this street in the morning and half of this street on the afternoon. And I didn't want to get into that. Then you got that Jeremy effing Cowart guy up there in Tennessee who's like phoning it in, Jeremy. Just phoning it in. Have you watched his Instagram lives? He's like chilled out in his studio. People are FaceTiming in. He's doing these like, of course, because it's Jeremy Cowart. He's doing these awesome projection portraits of people and like, well done, homie. Like, love it. It's great. I need something I can turn around lickety split. I figured, I live in this big suburban neighborhood in North Atlanta. There's tons of families here. I could probably do some sort of family portrait special and get some people to sign up for it. Knowing that not only is my family economically hurting right now, many families are economically hurting at the moment. So I had to figure out like, what can I offer that's something a little special that can make some money but isn't too, out of the park for someone to spend right now. What I finally decided to do were family mini sessions, 15 minutes for $100. I ended up getting 15, but then 5 canceled on me. So I photographed 10 families over a 3-day period. To get the word out, I made a short little video, put it on my Facebook group for the neighborhood, and decided to see how that would go. So the next thing I had to do was find a safe location. Look, I take this pandemic seriously, and I am not going to be cavalier in being like, oh, it's just the flu, it's fine. No, I want to be very safe. So I spent an afternoon driving around the neighborhood location scouting. There's a really nice lake in our neighborhood, and I wanted to incorporate that. But there are a couple things. I knew that I'd be shooting about 4 p.m. in the afternoon to maybe 7 in the evening. That was going to be my block of time. And all the nice spots around the lake from that like 4 to probably 6 or 4 to 6:30 were going to be under full sun. So if I had a family posed with the lake in the background, any of the places I wanted to shoot with the lake in the background, it would have just been full sun. For about 10 seconds, I actually thought I might set up a 12 by 12 silk to have families be able to sit under. But then I realized that was an idiotic idea to do for $100 mini sessions. I needed a place to keep social distancing in mind. I wanted to keep at least minimum 15 feet distance from myself and my clients from anyone else. So I settled on this little walkway in a parking lot up near the clubhouse of our neighborhood. It's nicely landscaped. In the afternoon, people would be backlit by the sun, and I knew I could come in with some fill flash. I figured this is going to be the spot. People can wait off to the side if I'm not finished yet with photographing a family. We don't have to get close to each other. A long lens is going to help compress things. Put a little bokeh on the background. That turned out to be the perfect spot to shoot these portraits. I wanted a simple, nice, easy place to photograph portraits, but I also wanted to offer just a little something different, just a little something of my own, and to add a little extra to what I was offering to people. So I went with the classic white background with a little flash popped onto it for just some very clean headshots, which I envisioned being nicest in black and white. So 15 minutes, I'll photograph the family, then I'll photograph individuals, or I'll photograph just the kids, or I'll photograph just mom and dad. Like whatever the family wanted in that 15-minute block of time, I was going to try to knock out as much as I could for them. Let me run down the gear that I used for this. All right, so I've got my setup out here and I'm trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can. So right back here, I've got my white background set up. And then over here, I have another light set up so that I can shoot in that shady part of the grass back there. Let me walk you through all of this. So here we've got a 5x7 pop-up background. It's white on one side, black on the other. There will be links to all of this stuff in the description below. And then I needed just a little extra flag, so I clamped a little translucent pop-up reflector to the top of that. I've got a C-stand over here on the left and just a normal black stand over here on the right. And there's a sandbag here on the black stand, and there's an entire car on the C-stand. Looks like my car bag did a pretty good job. It's not falling over. Glad I'm done for the day. Got my Indra 360 set up to pop this background white, and then just a simple stool and an apple box for posing. We've got some shade, some nice dappled light coming in from the background. I can backlight my subjects with the sun. And then I'm doing just a bit of fill flash with my Octa here. I've got the Indra 500 going on here. And I'm only running this between 1/8 and 1/4 power right now. And yeah, maybe the most important part of my set is this right here. For these sessions, I went with my Fuji X Pro 2 and the Fuji 50-140 2.8. I knew that 140 would give me the reach I need, it would give me the compression, it would give me the shallow depth of field, and most importantly, it would give me the distance away from my clients that I would need. I will have links to all the stuff and the gear and the things down below. All in all, I'm really pretty pleased with how it came out. I mean, I am so rusty at photographing families. It has been well over a decade since I've done any kind of like family photography work. I have so much respect for that genre of work because it can be very difficult to do it really well. I did have one stool and an apple box that I had people sit on or use to prop them. After each family left, I sanitized all of it. Not today, Corona. Let me show you a handful of pictures that I made. So the first thing I would do at the end of each day is download all the cards. I make a folder with the year, month, day, and then whatever the job is. So it was 20/04/11 family portraits, day 3. That's what we're looking at right now, right here. I have a folder for all the raw photos and the JPEGs. I shot raw plus JPEG. Why not? And then I have my edits folder and finally my exports. So we're in Photo Mechanic right now. I would go through and I 5-star all the ones that I want to keep. I bring those into the edits folder. So these are all the ones that I've decided, okay, these are going to be what I work on in Lightroom. Those get imported into my Lightroom catalog. I don't need 8 billion photos in my Lightroom catalog. I just need the ones I want to work on. And then when I'm done in Lightroom, I have them exported per family. So if I ever need to go back into a specific family's folder to grab a photo or whatever, they're all right there. So let's jump into Lightroom. So here's the raw photo straight out of camera, nothing done First thing I'll usually do is if I need to change exposure, anything like that, I'll maybe tweak that a bit. And then I work on my color. I'm just going to warm it up. You've seen me on my videos before. If you have a hard time seeing color, then just make big swings with your white balance slider here, your temperature slider, and you'll see it, right? That's way too blue. That's way too warm. It's somewhere in there in the middle. And I'm typically going to take it to its neutral point plus slightly warmer. I like it to go just a bit warmer. So that's too cool for me, and yeah, somewhere in there. You just bring it until you see it. You'll see it snap in there. Look pretty good. Maybe I'll punch that contrast up a bit. You know me, I love a little vignette. Nothing too crazy, but I do just like a little vignette on most things. Little four-corner burn, as we used to say in the dark room. Ooh, do you hear the fan on my old laptop running? It hates it when I do a screen recording and do something in Lightroom. It's about to go up in flames. Great. So G for grid view. And so this is just a sample gallery that I pulled up to do this because I knew that my laptop would blow up. I hit Command Shift S. Synchronize all that. Blump. Now, it was fairly similar shooting conditions. Let's see if the same settings look good. That looks a little too warm for me for this next setup. So just, oh, no, that's my exposure slider. Just gonna bring that warmth down a smidge. Looks pretty good. And then, boom. Synchronize all of that. Does it look good with this family? Yeah, I think with this one thing I can do, I got a little brighter in that background, so I'm going to bring those highlights down a little bit. And also that temperature, just a little tweak right there. And for this one, might go a little heavier on the vignetting. Nah, that's fine. I'll just pull that in. That all looks fine and dandy. Good. Grid. So click this to this, synchronize. Now these were just available light shots. So again, straight out of camera. First I'll kind of tweak any exposure tweaks I want to make. I'm going to bring those highlights down, and those whites, bring that down. Lens correction, I'm going to give this a good vignette right there. Now let's go up here. Yeah, something like that. How much can I yank those highlights? Yeah, I'm going to take that all the way. What's this doing for me? That's affecting the skin too much, so I'm going to keep that about there. And maybe darken up the shadows a hair. And if I want to get super duper, I'm going to pull in a mask here-ish. And just bring that exposure down. Bring those highlights down a little more. Now, I'm going to have to move that. I'm going to synchronize, and I'm going to go ahead and keep all of that I just did. Oh, that works. That works too. Cute kids. Cute kids. And then I'm going to go grab this picture and this, and this. Synchronize. Doot. Double check. That got way too warm for that one. Let me pull that down just a bit. Tweaky. Yeah. That's fine. All right, cool. Let me show you how I work on the white background pictures. So for the white background, that background's being lit by the strobe, and then the subject is just the available light. So let's get into these real quick. Develop. I make my exposure tweaks first. Contrast bump there, and then warm it up. Looks pretty good. Now on these, I didn't have quite enough distance from the strobe to the background. So there are a few little corners that didn't quite pop straight to white. So one thing I'll do, just a little smidge of a reverse vignette. You see those corners just lighten up just a little bit. I don't want it affecting the subject too much, but that looks pretty good. Now then, I will go through, select that, get all of these, synchronize, and boom. Now, I really saw these being awesome in black and white. And to kind of sweeten the pot and for my clients to open up their gallery when they got the link to see, you know, more photos than I actually took, I delivered these white background photos in color and in black and white. Not every single one, but ones that I particularly liked. Like, oh, I like this in black and white. I want this in black and white. So what I would do is I would go through and I would say, okay, that's, you can see here, hold on. I synchronize those, and if I develop and I fix this. So this is without the strobe firing. That's with the strobe firing. I think it looks pretty good either way. I didn't really need that strobe. It still looks pretty good. What I will do is I'll go through and I'll say, okay, I like this in black and white. I want this in black and white. I want that in black and white. I want that in black and white. And we're going to do this one and this one in black and white. So I have the ones I want selected for black and white. I'm going to double click and I'm going to create virtual copies of those. I'm going to go back up to that very first one I picked. You see they're still selected. And I'm going to click on that one, hit develop. I'm going to go do my patent pending black and white conversion. Watch this. Saturation down. Easy enough. Little bump in contrast. I like them a little more contrasty. Right there. Maybe bring that. And I add a little punch of clarity to my black and whites. I don't want black and whites to be flat and boring and I like my black and whites to have a little crunch, a little contrast, some snap to them. That's why when like the Visco filter thing hit and all the blacks in photos were just basically muddy grays, I hated that look so much. You know, when you start getting black and whites that are just so like boring and flat, oh my God, I hate it. I can't even. So let's say that looks good. I go back G, grid view, and I still have all those virtual copies selected. Synchronize. And there they go. And then I just go in and spot check to make sure that that all still looks good. Like, see, I think little guy here could have a little more contrast. You could just get a little more. Grid, and then I'll go pick that one and synchronize those so they are consistent. I think that looks good. Yeah. She definitely needs some more contrast. And if I can get rid of that reverse vignette on that. Synchronize, boom. So, at this point, let's say this is the whole family. Let's just say. So at this point, I would go into library, rename photos, family name underscore, and I would name all my raw files the last name of the family. Do all of that, and then I go to export. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. I've figure out which folder I want them to go into. I want them in my export folder. And for these, I'm delivering full resolution, like turn and burn, baby. Full resolution, JPEG, sRGB, 90 quality, 300 DPI. I don't need sharpening. And yeah, and then I hit export. For delivery, I used Shootproof. I use Shootproof as much as I can for delivering files to clients. They love the interface. I can control what kind of downloads they get or don't get. I can deliver contracts through them. I can also deliver print releases for things like these family portraits. If you have any interest in seeing a video just about Shootproof and how I use it for delivering photos and things like that to clients, let me know in the comments below, and I'll put that on my list of videos to make. So yeah, that's me shooting family portraits in my neighborhood. I had fun. It was nice to have something on the schedule. It was nice to have kind of just a feeling of doing some work. Thank you so much for watching. I sure do hope you enjoy these videos as much as I enjoy making them right now. Please comment below if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, if you want any more in-depth anything about anything, let me know in the comments. And you know what? If you really like my videos, Zack Arias, now accepting tips. You know what? Hit me up on that Cash App or that Venmo. Let's call this like honor system Patreon. Yeah, much appreciated. We're gonna be busting you soon. And also remember,
please like or subscribe.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this looks better, doesn't it? I think it looks better. I like this a lot more. Done.